All right, let's get the show on the road. I don't know why my video isn't playing intro video because it's Torn Tuesday and it's live. And of course, things don't want to work when we're live. Hello, everybody. My name's Justin, and that is Cliff Ord Broadway, the producer and
Hello
writer of
there.
Ringers, Lord of the Fans.
Hello there, everybody. And hey, Justin, nice to see you. How are things, everyone? It's a lovely Tuesday. And, well, at least it is here in Southern California, where it's sunny and 72 degrees, while unfortunately, all the rest of our friends across the country are in the deep freeze. It's really bad. I'm sorry, y'all. All, all, all my love to you people out in the East. But boy, it's so nice here in Southern California.
It's
It's
so
sunny and
beautiful. It's sunny. It's
sunny,
78 degrees.
72. It's insane. Do you know what my friend did for my birthday? This Sunday, he took me out hiking to Zuma Canyon up in the Santa Monica Mountains. And we saw the waterfalls and the trails were beautiful, but you wouldn't believe it. The rest of the country is gripped by a vicious winter storm. And here I am, and it's sunny, bright, and beautiful. And I'm just traipsing around the mountains, looking at little waterfalls and feeling very hobbity. It was very much like a little hobbit trail wandering through the forest. It was so beautiful. So we had a really nice weekend. And hi, everybody. It was really nice to come to you live right from Disneyland Park last Tuesday. That was a lot of fun. But eventually the staff started looking at me like, what's this crazy fool doing? Anyways, Justin, you're looking well today, good sir. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. We've got an
Very good.
exciting show. Let's talk. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Aragorn casting rumors and some other stuff. And of course, and our big headline that you saw on the title screen is we've got a lot to talk about old Lord of the Rings video games, and we actually, I believe, we'll have a
Yeah.
guest to talk about what it was like to bring some of those classic Lord of the Rings Xbox games to market and stuff like that.
How cool.
But the
How very
chat room is
cool.
here. I see Eruvandi, Princess Toy Nerd. I see you guys on Facebook. I see you guys everywhere. Breed Crossroads
Hello,
is there.
everybody.
Last Win, who's a regular in our wonderful Discord.
Mo-
Um,
Moderator, our wonderful moderator, last
the
one.
best part about this show is that every episode lives online on our YouTube channel. So if you missed last week, all you have to do is go
Yes.
to the One Ring Net on YouTube, and you can. There's a tab for live videos, and you can watch any of our past episodes, and that's
Oh, my
pretty
goodness.
fun.
Don't
Um,
tempt them because we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of past episodes to watch. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and it's her birth. It's whose birthday? Who else had a birthday? Is it you, Bree Crossroads? Who else is having a birthday? Am I missing something? Oh my gosh. Okay, it'll come up in the live stream. And just like you, Justin, I would like to take a moment and acknowledge. Oh, it's Last Win's birthday. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Last Win. That is so wonderful. You are the best. You are absolutely the best.
Let's get going. A quick program note. Next week, if everything works out well, we'll have some special guests. But next week, the Comic-Con cruise just happened, and we're gonna have some people
Ooh,
that
really?
were there on the Comic-Con cruise to talk about what happened. I guess Markella Kavanaugh, who is the main Harfoot character, Nori in Rings of Power, was there. Billy and Don were there, regaling stories upon the open seas.
Oh,
So
how fun.
I want to know all about the Comic-Con cruise. So that's going to be next week. But Cliff, this
Yeah.
week, I guess we should start with with another event. All right. Let's just do this. Look at this. Um,
Okay.
as you
Yes, let's.
know, the four Hobbit boys are touring the country all year long as part of the 25th anniversary of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. They're going to stop at MegaCon Orlando pretty soon.
How
And guess
cool.
what? A couple other actors, their schedules cleared, And folks, look at that lineup for photo ops and autographs. This,
That's going to be really lovely.
Cliff, tell. It's not often we see Liv Tyler. Uh,
It's
uh,
incredibly rare. It is so rare to have Liv appear and along with Orlando at the same time. That's a real surprise. That's a really lovely thing. So we'll
and
have,
then
well,
Orlando and John Reese Davies. Like you can get the elf and the dwarf together. Like what this is a lineup for the ages. It's happening in
it
at
is.
MegaCon Orlando pretty soon. You just got to go to their socials. Look for MegaCon Orlando, because this is amazing. I just had to point that out at the top of the show because it's
I
pretty
agree.
good.
I agree. That is super cool. Now, to respond quickly to some of the people in the chat, trying to give them some basic context, San Diego Comic Con does a magical floating cruise every year. However, don't you find it strange they don't do it in the summer anywhere near the convention? They do it in the midwinter. So that's when it happens.
Yep.
And it's something that they believe they sell tickets for it quite a long time before it happens, much earlier than when it happens.
Yeah. Cliff, I was going through the scrapbook, and because Billy and Don were on the Comic Con cruise, and would you look at this? I found the
Oh my
very
goodness.
first article ever that I could find. This
I
is
can
from
barely read
the
that.
January 2000. Yeah, it's a poor scan, but this is a scan
Yes.
of a magazine from Scotland, I believe.
Oh,
And oh
wow.
no, this is the Wellington Post. And this is from January of 2000.
Oh my
Look at
goodness.
this headline: Hobbits finally speak out. Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd. But what about the accent? They were the fans and the press were already getting nervous about the variety of accents between the four
Yes.
hobbits. You had
We
Sean
that was a
and
thing. That
Elijah
was a thing.
from
Yes.
Los Angeles. The most LA of people ever is Sean and Elijah. Like established actors. And here we are worried about the accents for Dom and Billy. Um, some things never change. Look, fans are going to stress about everything at all times, but we found some wonderful old photos.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
there's
Look at that.
Dom and Sean winning the MTV Movie Awards.
In
There's
2004. Oh, that's our party. That's our Oscar party with Sir Ian and Elijah and Billy Boyd. Wow.
There you go. And there's Orlando and Billy on the red carpet. I believe this is for Two Towers. And Orlando just giving them a friendly glance. So just amazing. But we're not the only ones looking back. Look at this. Weta Workshop posted
Isn't that great?
unseen
That is so
photos
cool.
in full 4K high res. I mean, these are real huge file size, the quality. We've never seen this type of detail for the prologue of Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that great?
Cliff, these are brand new photos of King Elendil.
There he is. Yes. And all of his Gondorian soldiers next to him. Isn't that amazing?
We've
And of
never
course,
we've never
deep
had this
center. In the deep
clear of
center, is that not Isildur at his shoulder, at the king's shoulder?
Look
Might
at
be.
that. We've never had this clear of a picture of Elendil and Isildur. And
Wow.
and Cliff, you know, we were just talking about, look, guys, welcome to February.
Wow.
It is Black History Month, and would you look at that right center to the left of the king is is a wonderful actor. We haven't found his name yet, but it just goes to show, like, people want to accuse Peter Jackson of whitewashing Lord of the Rings a little too much, but here's proof they were making an effort to have a very dynamic looking, diverse army
Yeah.
under Elendil. So incredible work that Weta Workshop
Absolutely.
did. Guys, we've never had this level of photos. Yes, that is Gil Galad from the Fellowship of the Ring. No, that is not Gil Galad, the actor from Rings of Power. That is the one that they cast 25 years ago. Um, oh
That's
man,
funny.
just look at the quality of this photo. I mean, we've never seen these photos about this. So anyway, head over to Weta Workshop's Facebook page and Instagram because they're posting incredible photos.
That's really amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Um, we've got we want to talk about some the
Oh God,
Aragorn casting
that would be
news.
Mark Ferguson. Just to remind everyone, as a point of accuracy, the actor who played Gil Galad in The Fellowship of the Ring in Peter Jackson's film was Mark Ferguson. But yes, he looks a hell of a lot like, so much like Gil Galad from The Rings of Power, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, Rings of Power did excellent casting. Getting Ben Walker,
Yeah,
looks like the old.
absolutely.
Um, all right, folks. Real quick before we get into the game stuff, just a quick programming note. Yeah, I teased something. Um, at the end of the show last week after Cliff had logged off. But after talking with the rest of our fan volunteers, um,
Hmm.
many who have children, it was decided that we should not show you the casting auditions of children. And I agree. So I'm
Okay.
sorry that I teased that, but it's actually appropriate that we don't show that.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk
totally fine.
about what they're casting for. A Night Edge Media has been
And
one of the
what
great
we're
leakers of.
Oh yeah, they've been giving us some great scoops and information. But what we can talk about is the fact that there's a new context within the narrative of the hunt for Gollum, and we're getting an immediate viewpoint that we've never had before about what the writers are going to touch upon. The early childhood of Smeagol and his cousin Deagle, and perhaps others in the community of the river folk that Smeagol lived among. So that is why they're now putting out these casting announcements. I had never thought until now that I realized that they're doing this. I never thought the hunt for Gollum would ever go that far back into his childhood. Ever, but they really are. And so this is something very interesting for Andy Serkis and the writing team to actually take on and recreate. It's going to
Now,
be fascinating.
they're not just casting young Gollum or young Smeagol and young Deagle. They are casting a third um a girl. They want a
Hmm.
little girl to be the best friends of Smeagol and Deagle.
Hmm.
So a
Right.
friend group of three. Um,
Maybe they're cousins. Maybe they are all cousins. We'll find out when the movie
well,
comes
that
out.
was my question to you, Cliff. To,
Yes.
explain to me: are Smeagol and Deagle brothers? Are they lovers? Are they? What was
Cousins.
Tolkien
No,
using
they're cousins.
careful language to
Nope.
not get past the anti-gay censors of the 1950s?
Nope, not at all. I mean, old British idiomatic expressions of my duckling or my darling or my love, or those kinds of things are not romantic, and they're not meant romantically. It's something that a grandmama would say to a child, or it's something that a cousin would say to a cousin. My
Yeah,
duckling,
but
my
look,
my
Tolkien was
little
all about
gosling, or things like
applicability.
that.
So when
No,
Smeagol
no,
says "My love, give me the ring,"
you're out of your tree now. You're completely out of
why
your tree.
can't Smeagol and
No,
Deagle be gay?
because they were cousins. That's not the relationship that was being depicted.
Are you sure?
There's
Would you be
sure.
okay with a modern?
I don't care. I do not care if you want to conceive of it that way, and I certainly do not care or mind at all, nor will I ever pass judgment if you take a personal reading to your heart and it works for you that way. That's totally fine. But that's they're cousins, and there's a certain modern day, we're talking modern day American idiomatic expressions would never ever use the phrase my love. Give it to us, my love, because it's my birthday. They would never do that. But that was so common back way, way back, over a century ago. Come on, y'all. This is just the way that language is perceived over time. It's more a question about
Does so,
not whether they were gay or not. It's a question about how we modern Americans perceive language. Look at the chapter in The Hobbit about Beorn, Beorn the Skin Changer.
that's
The
right.
name of that chapter is Queer Lodgings. Okay? I wrote a
Hmm.
whole article about this in Green Books back in 2002. Okay? And there are misconceptions about queer lodgings being queer. It's not. That's just the way the language was used to describe something odd and very strange in an unexpected way. So way back before the 2000s, the gay 90s had a connotation. We're talking back in the day of F. Scott Fitzgerald and The Great Gatsby. And what was the gay 90s? It had nothing to do with homosexuality. It was called the gay 90s because it was party, 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 drinking and slopping around at parties all the time, and lots of rip
But we
roaring
do
fun. That's what it
we
was,
do know
you know.
Tolkien's friend group, the Inklings. At least one, maybe two of them were gay, and he helped to keep that secret because there were laws against gay people in England in the 50s.
I
So
want to, yeah, yeah. And of course, Oscar Wilde was punitively punished by the judicial system for being, quote unquote, a bugger. Pardon the language. I know the people in England aren't going to like that phrase, but
all right,
hey, that
I
let's
agree.
just
Let's
let's
just move.
just read what Bree Crossroads in the YouTube chat has said.
Okay.
Yay for representation, but they were cousins. So unless it's Maeglin and Idril, let's not and say we didn't. Excellent point, my dear
Okay,
friend.
moving on to the next
Excellent
question.
point.
If they're gonna, if they are looking to cast a young girl to play with the two boys, Smeagol and
Now,
Deagle.
you know what that means? We're going to have a recreation of early, early pre-Hobbit society. And the only time
These are
we've seen this,
stores.
of course they are, but
They're
we've
not
seen this
hobbits. They're
depicted.
stores.
But as I was saying, we have already seen this depicted in season 1 of the Rings of Power. So now that we've seen all the Harfoots and the way that they're portrayed, we're going to see another team, an entirely different creative angle about these early proto-hobbits
Would you
that
be
were
okay?
the river folk.
Would you be
Yeah,
okay if the young
yeah.
girl is Smeagol's sister?
Sure, that's fine. We don't know if he had any siblings. He might have had other siblings. It's just as likely as anything else. But we only know what Tolkien did in the description of them on that fishing boat on that fateful day. They were cousins and they were fishing in the Anduin. That's all we know from that.
Final question, Cliff. Would you be okay with a little retcon, a little time shift, and maybe the kids discover the ring as kids and then hide it?
No, that would be horseshit. No.
Oh,
That's not acceptable.
okay. In that,
Uh, can
okay,
I clean
okay.
up my language? Let me clean up my language. This is, after all, a
Yeah,
family
no, I
show.
get it,
Let's
but
just call it Horse Pucky. That's
okay.
Horse Pucky.
Then Cliff, my final question on casting three young kids for young Gollum. What if you
That's
don't
right.
think that's
That's right.
okay? If you
Judah
don't
has
like the
reminded us
idea,
that we saw the stores. We saw the stores in season 2,
that's
far
right.
in the lands to the east.
So
That's right,
Cliff,
in the
just
east.
take
Yeah,
can you give
yeah.
me your best guess. If you're not okay with young kids accidentally stumbling on the ring, what in the world could the movie possibly be doing with young Smeagol?
We're going to learn something about his psychology. We're going to learn something about whether the child was badly behaved, whether he was impulsive. He can be portrayed as a young child as being selfish, impulsive, and all those weird traits that we see in younger children until they grow out of it, until they become more mature. So I expect to see some early psychology of Smeagol being portrayed in some of these scenes. But by no means would I ever expect a bizarre Rings of Power style thing where, oh, they didn't find the ring that way, the way that Tolkien described. They found the ring in an entirely different way, which is horsepucky. And by the way, we're gonna go kiss our mother-in-law right now. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kiss my mother-in-law.
Wow,
Mwah.
wow, stop.
So
A kid
I'm telling
would
you,
kiss their
I'm
mother-in-law. A
telling you.
child would kiss. When you're 8 years old, of course, my mom always used to say, "Come give me a kiss. Good night." Like,
I would
that is
not. I'm just making a
normal.
joke.
That
I'm
is
making a joke.
normal.
The kids are not going to find the
You
ring.
talking about me being weird? You're being weird
I'm
now.
I'm telling you that Patrick and JD McPain, the McPain folks, are the ones who would retcon the story and have Smeagol and Deagle find the ring in completely different circumstances than otherwise were clearly
We're
written in
gonna
the book.
we'll get to Ring
That's
Power
all.
news
I do
later
not
in the
think that
show. So
Artie
then,
Papagiorgio and Philippa Boyens and Phoebe Gittins, I do not think they're going to do that.
okay, fair
Sorry.
enough. All right, back to the Aragorn recasting. Again, this has been big news.
I'm sorry to the chat. My apologies to you. I'm sorry, Princess Toy Nerd. We love you. We love everyone in the chat. I apologize. I was just trying to make a joke. Okay. Anyways,
All
moving
right.
on.
Well,
Moving on. Okay.
since we're not going to
Well,
show any more
also,
videos, and
no,
we
you know what
showed
else?
we
Hold
showed
on.
all those
Hold on.
videos last week.
Hold on. We did, but I got one more idea. Do you know how much in the story we learn that there are rumors of Gollum sneaking into windows and stealing babies out of their cribs? And that became part of the nightmarish folklore around Gollum when he was, possessed by the ring early and started wandering around and being evil. Do you imagine that they're going to do that? Do you think Andy Serkis is ever going to show Gollum literally stealing infants? I mean, that's the stuff from old world Aesop's fables or the Brothers Grimm stories, where children are constantly endangered or children are inadvertently depicted in these old Brothers Grimm stories as being eaten by trolls or witches in the woods or Baba Yaga or whatever. There's always this child endangerment stuff that they have in old fairy tales. And I wonder, because Tolkien very much alluded to it, I wonder if the screenwriters are going to have Gollum actually stealing an infant from the crib just for a late night snack. Oh my gosh. I wonder if they're going to get that weird. I wonder if they're going to do
This
that.
would
Anyway,
be the
I wonder.
movie to
I'm
do
just
it in. This
wondering.
would be the only time to do that in, and I would love if Peter Jackson and Andy begin to return to his horror roots. That would be incredible. Folks, before we move on, Aragorn casting. So we gave you some actual Aragorn audition videos last week. Again, go to our YouTube channel, watch last week's video. You can
Okay.
see actual auditions from actual actors. But
Yes.
here, Cliff, in this era of AI, it turns out fans not only can just do their fan casting and say, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if that actor was this?" Fans are actually prompting AI to make images
Oh
of the
gosh.
actors. So
Oh gosh.
so rather than having message board discussions like we did 25 years ago, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if this guy was Aragorn?" We can actually
Now
see
we
what
can
that
put
would
together
look like.
some
And
weird AI slop. Yeah, here we go.
but here's the thing. I know you don't like AI slop or whatever, but I do appreciate that fans are getting it out of their system. Now that we can see what an actor would look like in the role, we can kind of get it out of our system creatively. Be like, yeah, okay, now that I see it, I don't know, that doesn't really work. That's my opinion. I kind of like to see these AI fan castings because we get to see with our own eyes why it doesn't work.
Hmm,
So let's go to the
right.
first fan casting based on an original casting rumor that we
Hmm.
have in our archives from the year 1999.
That was one of the earliest weird casting rumors, but there he is, Nicolas Cage himself as Strider. Wow.
Nicolas Cage
Wow.
was on the short list. We have heard from
Wow.
producers 20 years later that Nicolas Cage was on the short list of actors that Harvey Weinstein was interested in casting because he was trying to make a big hit. And Nicolas Cage, of course, that was his era of The Rock and Con Air. and Superman
Yes.
Lives. Like he had the locks, he
Hmm.
had the
The Superman movie that never happened with Nick Cage. Yes, that's
so
right.
um so that's the first one. But I can tell you the most popular fan casting in the year of our grace 2025 has to be Henry Cavill, the Witcher himself, Superman himself.
Oh my goodness, really?
What do you mean, really? He looks great. He looks
Um,
great.
I want to point out Last Wen's comment in the chat. I wish there were warnings on AI generators about the environmental issues. I agree very much with that, let alone some crackdown on those who haven't built their libraries ethically. Yep, I absolutely agree with that, Last Wen, 100%.
So, Cliff, let's stay on topic. What do you think of Henry Cavill
Oh, I'm
holding
on topic.
Anduril there?
We're on topic here. We're talking about AI generated fan casting. So this doesn't look like a very far cry from regular Vigo. That doesn't look very far at all, except for the fact that our our boy Superman here, Mr. Henry Cavill, is clearly about 40 pounds bigger and heavier in muscular than Vigo. He's about 35 or 40 pounds heavier than him.
And as far as we
Otherwise,
know,
yeah.
as far as we've heard, again, they're looking for younger Aragorn, not same age Aragorn. So I don't
Right.
think this works, but he is the number one most popular in a Twitter choice. Here's another one. Alexander Ludwig.
Oh dear. Oh
Alexander
dear.
Ludwig. There he is
Okay.
wearing the thing. Um
Okay, I'm
what
doing a
was he
quick
in?
IMDb search.
That's right. So Alexander Ludwig was another
Oh, he's from
fan favorite.
Vikings. Oh, he's
Yeah,
the dude
from
from Vikings. Right, right. Okay.
um so he
Well, that's
seems like the
possible.
right age. He
That's
seems like
possible.
the right age. I could buy that. That's a younger Aragorn. He
Yeah.
looks good.
I could buy Alexander Ludwig in this role. I could
I
possibly
feel
accept that.
like this guy, Pedro Pascal, is in too many shows right now.
No. You know, that would be so distracting because everybody would be looking at it saying that's Pedro Pascal instead of looking at it and saying that's Aragorn. That would be way too
I'm okay
distracting.
with a celebrity being Aragorn. Again, Riz Ahmed, anyone like that. I'm okay with a celebrity, but I feel like Pedro Pascal has been in too many things
Oh,
lately.
he's too successful. Oh my God, you're funny. Well, there is something to say about the burden of association that the audience will have upon seeing the new Aragorn. Do you know what I mean? That's a big thing. It's really a big thing. Um, People, and that's why I was advocating ever so slightly in previous weeks for an unknown, a complete unknown actor would be completely free of that burden of association. And the audience would be able to imprint on that performance in a completely different way
Yeah, you already
without all
said
that
that. We're
baggage.
talking about these guys. All right, here's another
Yeah,
fan
but that's
favorite
that's why
from Reddit
that is
and
why I
from
meant
Twitter.
that is
If
that
you
is why I'm
like The
mentioning it now
Walking
to say
Dead,
that Pedro Pascal is a bad idea. I'm telling you, things
how
very
about
clearly are
How
connected.
about The Walking Dead here?
No, no, not at all. Not
No?
at all. No. You want a younger Aragorn? This guy looks like he's 40 years older than the Vigo we got 25 years ago. No.
I agree.
Oh my
I
goodness. Oh
agree.
my goodness.
The guy from Walking Dead is too old, but uh, I could see it. He's like a television version of Viggo Mortensen. Let's be honest. Like every character the characters he's played on TV. Andrew Lincoln. That's right, Andrew Lincoln. Um, he is that archetype that Vigo played as Aragorn. So, yeah, not not in it. Here's another one. I can't. I don't have. I forgot to rename the file.
Why
Um,
does this guy look like Luke Evans?
that does not look like. I think this is a Skarsgård actually.
Wait, who is this? Who is this? Come on,
You know
explain
what?
this to
I
me.
unfortunately I didn't name this file correctly, so I don't know who it is. Um,
Uh, oh
but
gosh, who is this kid?
I think it's a Skarsgård. I think it's one of the Skarsgård.
Is this
Again,
is this Charlie Hunnam?
no, that's
Is this
not
Charlie
Charlie
Hunnam?
Hunnam.
Who
No,
is
no.
this?
I'm telling you, I think it's one of the Skarsgårds.
Okay, I can't
Bree
figure it out.
Cosgrove says he's from Vikings. He's another
Okay,
actor from Vikings. Um,
okay.
so I like him. He is a little bit younger. Again,
Hmm.
Cliff, based on the time frame of Hunt for Gollum, Aragorn should not be too much younger.
No, it's only 17 years.
Yeah,
Really?
of a Numenorian's life. 17
Yes,
years of a Numenorian's life. So,
exactly. He doesn't need to look that much younger.
okay. So, Travis Fimmel, that might be it.
Travis, okay.
All right. And people love this guy, Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor.
Josh O'Connor.
What do you think? What do you think of Josh O'Connor
I
as
don't
a
know.
young Aragorn?
Let me see.
His
Oh, he's
profile is up and coming. I mean, he's got some hits on his hand.
because he's just recently in Wake Up Dead Man, which is the recent Glass Onion uh Who Done It from Ryan Johnson. It's currently on Netflix.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. No, I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, he's the right. I feel
Yeah,
like
he's
he's
up.
the right
He's,
age gap. He's the right age.
he's up and coming. That's there's some possibility there. I don't know.
So yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. But during the seventh says
Hmm.
pass, and I have one more for you guys. Yes.
No, stop it. You all need to take a seat. Whoever did this needs to sit down and meditate on their sins for a little while at least. Yeah, y'all need to take a seat. Just take a seat right now.
Um,
Let the adults in the room do the talking because this ain't it. This is not it. Y'all have got and why is this AI thing putting
all
pointy
right,
elf ears on him? What
so
look, his
do you
ears are pointy.
do
What
you
are you
guys
doing with that?
like Alexander Ludwig, or do you like this guy? I think both of those guys are from Vikings, right? Um,
Maybe.
uh,
I still like Ben Barnes. I'm still really
I
partial to
still
Ben
like
Barnes.
Ben Barnes. I'm sure. You
And
know what?
you know what?
I should have
And
made that one myself, but
you
I
should
did
have.
not.
But you know
Um,
what? I'm also very fond of Riz Ahmed, and he's a very different approach to casting for this type of a role. But I still like the idea very much because he can do it. He can do it fabulously. There's a wealth of talent in Riz Ahmed, even though it's a different type of an approach. But Ben Barnes is maybe a little bit too on the nose. But those are my top two. You know, what did Tom Holland do to you that would bully him? And Princess Toy Nerd, I love Tom Holland. He is great in all these other roles. Everything else that he's been doing, even that video game adaptation that nobody saw, and of course all the wonderful Spider-Man things he's doing. Tom Holland is a really interesting, talented guy, but I do not honestly believe he would be appropriate for this Strider role. I just don't think
I
so.
agree.
But
All right.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I
All
love
right,
him. He's great. But
moving on. Here's an interesting thing that came across my timeline. I want to bring this up. We don't support piracy, but you cannot buy these games anymore, and they're kind of abandoned games on abandoned systems that most
mhm,
sometimes don't even work. If they shut down game servers, you can't play the games anymore. So
that's right.
there's been a collective group of fans that have been updating and re-releasing old Lord of the Rings games. And one of the most popular ones from 2009 was Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Yes,
So it
indeed.
is available now. Now, if you search for Lord of the Rings Conquest on Twitter, you can find these links. Um, again, do it at your own risk. I haven't vouched for their safety, but this is a console exclusive DLCs have been modded into the game. So I think Xbox had some exclusive DLCs on this, and online support is included as well. Deck verified means it works on Steam Deck, the handheld Steam Deck that runs Linux. So, and again, there's the two fans that put it together. So fans are actually re-releasing the games, old games. Check this out. Not only Conquest, but they've re-released Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Yes, that PlayStation game that you all loved and
Oh,
remembered,
how
Return of the
cool is that?
King from 2003. They've added proper widescreen and controller support on your computer. It is deck verified, so you can play it on your Steam Deck. This is work that we wish the studios were doing. A widescreen monitor. Remember, when these games came out, they were made for square screens. So, and of course,
Mm.
they released on Christmas Day, they released The Lord of the Rings, The War in the North.
Oh, how
Another
cool.
game
Yes.
that had a huge fan base.
That
Had
was
a
a very popular game, War in the North. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so but one of the tweets that came up on Lord of the Rings Conquest, which came out in 2009,
Yeah.
was this comment that says this game killed Pandemic, the studio that made it. It was published by EA. Pandemic was under EA, and they say this game that killed Pandemic. And
Hmm.
thanks to these folks, you can now experience this old gem with all the good stuff, plus online modes as well. So I reached into the network of torn folk, and I found a friend of the show, friend of the site, that
Oh, that's
actually
fabulous.
worked at Pandemic. Let's bring him in right now. James Root was a marketing executive at Electronic Arts, and I think worked at Pandemic. And so, welcome to the show, James.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Cliff. Good to see you, man.
Oh my gosh, it's James Root. How are you, sir? Lovely to
I'm
have you
so
here with
good.
us.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. You just walked in on us having this bizarre fan casting blather that we were just doing. I'm sorry about that, but that's how we
No,
do it.
it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
Yeah, so I actually joined Pandemic in September of 2008, just a few months before the game launched. And I was not a gamer. I was hired to run a creative team. And so my first mission was to do the game trailer for this game, along with the key art and the poster. And so that's where we ended up. And
Wow.
I kind of have a story about doing that, but it was me thrown into the deep end and on this property.
Yeah,
Ain't that the way? It's
so-
always the way. They throw you in the deep end every time, don't they?
So Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings,
Yes.
huge franchise. This is 2009, so this is like 5 or 6 years after the movies had won all the Oscars. And what was the studio expectations for this game? And I mean, were the top teams like working on this game? Where was Lord of the Rings Conquest internally?
Yeah, so there were two game teams at the time at Pandemic, and they were split evenly between this game and another. And so this game was built on the Star Wars engine that had come out previously, Star Wars Battlefront, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And so the expectations were that they were going to take what was actually a very successful game, and I think was one of the reasons Pandemic was acquired by EA, and bring in this really familiar and well-loved story and make it playable.
Wow, Star Wars Battlefront is one of the most successful, popular Star Wars games of all time. In fact, it got a re-release just a couple years ago and went viral. I mean, everybody was playing Star Wars Battlefront again. So this game was like this game engine was fully established, and so they said, so EA bought Pandemic after Star Wars Battlefront was a success, and said, "All right, we've got the Lord of the Rings license," because they did all the movie games, and they said, "All right, now do a Lord of the Rings version of Battlefront."
Yeah, exactly.
So what what happened? Because again, let's bringing up this tweet. Like, I didn't have any context. I don't remember reading about this. Like, do you have any inside info why like someone would say this in 2026?
Well, I think they're, acknowledging that the game still has affinity, and of course, everyone likes to bag on EA, and to a certain extent, it's true. I think that EA is a profit-driven company. They acquired both Pandemic and BioWare in the same package. And at the time, BioWare had released or was releasing Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And so those two games became, huge juggernauts. And Lord of the Rings Conquest and the other game that Pandemic had, which was called Saboteur, both just didn't perform at the same level. And I think, EA looked at that and just made a decision based on the bottom line.
Wow.
That's business, right?
Yeah.
You know. Do you think this is one of the reasons that nobody has ever tried to remake those best-selling Lord of the Rings games? I mean, everything's getting a
Yeah.
remaster re-release. We see Final Fantasy got a full remake. Like, so like everyone is, it's always on the top of Reddit. It's always trending on Twitter. Why do you think the Lord of the Rings games haven't been remastered yet?
I have no idea. I mean, I've been out for over a decade, so I don't really know or remember what the internal workings of the company were or where their heads at these days. But I would say that they're probably resource constrained, and even taking like a half dozen people to remaster a game isn't in the cards. That's my guess.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and anyone that made the game is no longer there. Now you were telling me that after this game came out, Pandemic was kind of wound down to a minimal staff.
More than that, I mean, Pandemic went away. Uh, Basically, starting February of 2009, EA had opened that huge campus in Playa Vista,
And they invited
and
us to
Pandemic,
visit, believe it or not. They
yeah,
did. Yeah.
and Pandemic had their offices in Westwood, and so within our group, we were like, oh, we're all moving over to the marina, yay! But as it turned out, like most people did, and those who did ended up sort of transitioning, like myself, to other games.
Huh.
Hmm.
Wow.
Now, within your work, within your experience of working on the original at the time when you
Mm-hmm.
did, can you tell us something about what was the most difficult thing that was in front of you in
Yeah.
working on this adaptation? There's got to be something that must have been like that maybe hung you up in development for a little while, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you thought we have to rethink it a few times before doing it. Can you name something that proved an interesting challenge in making this
Well,
game?
yeah, I mean, not exactly with the game development because I came in right at the end. The game was
Hmm.
basically finished when I started. So we were kind of in the final stages of the go to market for the marketing. But I will say that, the first job that landed on my desk was we have to make the teaser game trailer. And
Hmm.
I didn't, I really didn't know the property. And I was coming into a design, like a creative services team that had about 8 people who hadn't really been sort of managed for the last few months. So it's kind of chaotic. Um, but that said, and interestingly, we didn't have a lot of game footage to work with. So the trailer we ended up creating, I sort of ended up sort of suggesting that we do title cards, a lot of title cards that, the gold lettering on black that sort of make these big definitive statements, play as both sides or something. And
Yeah.
then in between small clips of gameplay. So letting the title cards do the heavy lifting of explaining what the game was and letting these small snippets sort of sell the climactic moments. And we pulled it off. But now, I went back and looked at the trailer again and I was like, yep, that was a minute long and it took us like 3 weeks of hell.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember the team kind of being like, what do? We don't have any footage. And I'm like, well, what I wanted to do was I looked at the opening 5 minutes of Apocalypse Now, which is
Oh,
essentially a single static shot with 2 or 3 other shots sort of dissolved in and then pulled back. And a lot of the work is done by the sound design, and it's also done just by the almost negative space. You're just looking at a scene of jungle and getting little glimpses of things happening at the edge of the frame. And I was like, you guys, we don't have much to work with, but maybe we could do something like this where it's almost like a setup. And then at the last moment, something enters that tells you what to be excited about. So yeah, so that's my thing, right? It's like sort of navigating those waters and also the politics of the game team going, that's not what we want to show, but I'm like, that's what you gave me.
oh my gosh, what a challenge. That's very cool, though, to have looked at a reference from such classic film. That's a great place to
Yeah.
get inspiration from.
Actually, the trailer you're showing is not the one that I worked on. I think this is like probably the 2-minute version.
Oh, that's the one that Justin just found. This other version of the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The one I worked on, it might be that. It's called teaser trailer. It's about 1 minute, 7 seconds long. And it's
Right
mainly
on.
just
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I think this is
it's all
it.
these title cards. Yeah. Right. So sell the success that came before.
Yep. I don't want to get copyright clipped. No music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but
look at that. How
this is
cool is that?
this is under the movie license from Warner Brothers, so you had access to all that beautiful official Howard Shore music. I mean, how much
Right.
easier is your job when you have the official soundtrack to play with?
Absolutely. And I know there were a lot of resources from WITA that were given to us, at least to the game team, which is actually a kind of funny sidebar. When pandemic went down, offices were closing. I was in the creative department. One of the producers walked in with a big box and he put it on my desk and he's like, this is left over from making Star Wars. It's original tapes from Lucasfilm that have all of the like screen references to like the TIE fighters and everything. So it's the original material that in order to develop the game. And they were like, you should make sure this gets back to Lucasfilm. Don't sell it on eBay or you'll get, in a lot of trouble. So I had this box of like, I think kind of one of a kind Star Wars ephemera almost. But I made sure it got back to Lucasfilm. But, working on games like this, especially when you partner with the IP holders or the copyright holders, once the deal's inked, they want to have a success and they'll give you as much as they can to do that.
That's incredible. Now, like, again, this is 2008. This is before, before a lot of social media had taken over our lives or whatever like that. So, how do you think, are games marketed the same way? Like, do they still just put out teaser trailers and then gameplay trailers and stuff like that? Or have you seen game marketing, change with the times?
I don't know if it's changed with the times. I think it's undergone a huge transition because E3 no longer exists. And so much marketing was like, that was the tentpole for the year. And you would build up, like you would have month-long beats leading up to that just don't exist anymore. So as far as generating anticipation for a game and producing the marketing assets to do that, I'm sure that a lot of the infrastructure is still in place. I think the timing, though, is probably more driven by like feedback from the audience online. If there's demand, if there's like they're getting positive reception, they might accelerate doing dev diaries, or they might offer more, screenshots, things like that. So I think it's probably more organic, but can't say that with total authority.
Yeah, totally.
Do you
And
think we're going to start getting early word of the hunt for Gollum, which hasn't even started principal photography yet? But since that is the next big theatrical feature release,
well, I
if,
can't. Yeah, I
New
can't
Line
remember
Cinema,
the last time we had a movie tie-in game. Like,
it's been, well, yeah, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? I don't think the Hobbit trilogy had direct video game adaptations, did it?
no. No, that's
There
what's
was,
interesting. This and
yeah,
2009, that's before The Hobbit. The Hobbit was 2012. So the
right.
Hobbit wasn't even in production when Conquest was coming out. This was still coasting on, the movies and the Oscar wins and stuff like that. Um
Yeah.
so wow. So again, back to this guy's tweet. It sounds like this is
Hmm.
kind of accurate. Like, the game killed Pandemic, but it didn't kill it. It was just
Yeah.
BioWare was more popular at the time.
Yeah. Comparatively successful. And, the other game that was in production at this time, which was The Saboteur, was this open world sort of GTA-like game set in Paris, like occupied Paris during World War II. And I know that it still has, I don't know if it's playable anywhere, but I know that the audience that did experience that game had a really strong affinity for it. And it had some really unique mechanics. And I think that, Pandemic was great at coming up with unique mechanics that made gameplay really interesting. And so, I think it's just the machinations of corporate America.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen the news, in the last couple months, EA was sold entirely to the Saudi Wealth Fund. So EA has new owners.
Oh, bother.
As that's capitalism, right? It
Right?
keeps marching on.
This is late stage capitalism at its worst, but let's not get into that. That could derail our entire show, so let's not do that. But
Yeah,
yes, yes. Well,
I got, I
I'm
got, I got.
James. Justin has better questions than I do tonight. This is true,
Okay.
but I'm gonna try to come up with something very good for you. Okay, I'll try.
Great.
Let me try. All right, Justin, you go
Bet
first.
on me.
Well, I
Okay.
wanted to know. You've worked on the actual corporate side of gaming, doing all marketing for big games like Lord of the Rings and Battlefield and stuff like that. What's your personal perspective on fans re-releasing these games? I mean, this is like 16 years later, and like, it's piracy, it's bootlegging, but it's not, because it's abandonware. So where should we sit on what's our
Yeah.
perspective on
I've never heard
that?
that term, abandonedware.
Yeah.
That's a real term. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna. Okay. So there's my personal perspective, and then there's probably the perspective of the creators of the game, the director, the producers, all of the artists. And so I don't know how they feel about it, especially if they're getting any kind of residual from, the commercial stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one. I'm a big believer in allowing artists to remix. So if these aren't really remixes, they're just sort of like opportunistic, like, hey, I figured out a way to do this, then that's definitely a gray area. But if it's like, yeah, this game inspired me, the mechanic was incredible, I really think other people, like in today's world, like could benefit from this experience, then I think that if there's a benevolence there, then that gives it a certain amount of permission. But yeah, it still doesn't
Well, I think,
Make it
I mean,
legal.
these kind of bootleg re-releases are coming from a passion the fans have. I
Yeah,
mean, these
true,
fans are
true.
they're adding widescreen support. They're adding
Mhm.
Steam Deck support, so it runs on
Yes,
Linux. They're
Hmm.
incorporating console only DLC, which was like if you had a PlayStation version, it might have got different DLC than the Xbox version. I mean, that was a whole
exactly.
thing for a
Yeah,
while. So
Oh yeah.
these fans putting all of the extras in there and adding modern 4K monitor support so you can do all the stuff. And some are even adding RTX, lighting. I mean, this is, and they're giving it away for free,
yeah,
like because it's like you can't play these games anymore on
yeah.
modern systems.
I mean, I think that's also a big distinction. It's like sort of making it available. It's like opening the closet door at your house and like all of the games fall out. And it's like, hey, you guys remember this one? I already had it in a way. And the nostalgia is, you know, it that definitely brings love to the property. So it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm so
Hmm.
glad we got the inside
Yeah.
story. Again, inspired by a random tweet. I didn't know that a single game could kill a studio, let alone a Lord of the Rings game. But
Yeah.
if Mass Effect came out at the same time, I mean,
Yeah.
and Dragon Age, I mean, those are
Yeah.
two of the biggest franchises of the last 15 years.
And
Yes.
it matches the EA profile. They were in a big acquisition phase at that time for years, just buying indie game studios and absorbing them, and then either trying to sort of make the games bigger or just sort of killing them off. But and I think this was part of that pattern. It has nothing to do with the quality of the design, the storytelling, the team that did it, even with how it was received, because um, as we know, marketing can make or break a product, even if it's a crappy product. So the degree to which the corporate overlords, pushed that marketing avenue also had an effect. And so, you know, I think it's more that the game didn't kill that. It was like it's just EA's sort of huge machine.
Totally.
Insane. Now, let me ask you before we let you go, James.
Yeah.
What would you be most interested in working in or on for the next Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth connected game? Is there something that you would really like to get involved in
Hmm.
that you think would be able to light the lights in your tree?
Yeah, great question. And
I know I'd get one. I
thank you
get
for
at least
asking it.
one.
Yes.
Yes, at least one.
Yeah. I don't have a direct answer, but I'll tell you kind of where I would start to find the answer. I think that there is, I don't know how to describe it. There's a lot of meaning in the stories, and uh, whether it's a game or a movie or any other kind of narrative device, uh, finding kind of the heart of Tolkien and the lore and expressing it, and maybe it's parts of it that haven't been expressed yet, or haven't been sort of explored deeply yet, on the edges of the known stories. I'm sure there's a lot there. So I think what I'd start with is immersing myself in the lore, and then I could tell you.
Mm, very nice. There's so much there. There is so much out there.
Yes.
And surprisingly, J.R.R. Tolkien has more posthumously published new books coming out
Hmm.
year after year after year. And Justin continually makes the joke that he's putting out more literary output than George R.R. Martin fans who are still waiting for The Winds of Winter, which isn't going to happen. So there you go.
Well,
Nice.
It's true.
this has been a wonderful conversation. Thanks, James, for being available on short notice to
Yeah,
come and talk to us about Lord of the
of
Rings
course.
Conquest.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
my pleasure, and thank you, Justin. So, best of everything to both of you guys.
All right.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
take care,
Great to
y'all.
have you here.
Thank
Come
you.
back anytime,
Okay.
James. Anytime. Come
All
join
right.
us.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Awesome.
Well, well
folks,
done. Well done.
That's the story. Again, these games are available. They're on some sites. I don't expect that they would put viruses on your computer. These are it seems like most of these games are being remastered by genuine fans of these old games. And I see in the chat room some people still have the Return of the game on their Windows 8 PC. Of course you do. Of course you do.
Huh?
All right. We've got we should catch people up on Rings of Power news before we let everybody go. And
Yeah, let's.
So Rook, let's go to it. Congrats, Cliff. Congrats to Robert Arameo, his second award this year. Breakthrough Performer of the Year at the London Critics Choice Awards, London Critics Circle.
Oh,
He
yes, absolutely.
he won Breakthrough Performer of the Year. Timothy Chalamet won Best Actor, and it's just he's in amazing company because now he's a two-time award-winning best actor this year for his movie I Swear, which is going to have a wider release in just a couple months.
I really want to see that. I want to see that film. I really do.
And Cliff, it gets even better because not only
What's
has Robert Arameo, who plays Elrond, won his second award, he is now nominated for the BAFTA award for leading actor alongside the biggest names. Look at that: Ethan Hawke,
Wow,
Michael B. Jordan, Jesse
he's
Plemons,
up there with everybody. Wow,
Robert Arameo, our boy Arameo, our boy Elrond is in contention with Leonardo DiCaprio
and Timothée Chalamet and everybody. And this is a powerhouse year of acting performances. And look at Robert; he's in there for leading actor.
That, Cliff! I'm so excited for this is our guy.
Incredibly cool. Congratulations, Robin. You deserve it, good sir. Congratulations, Robin.
I
meant to say Robert. Robert, you're the best. This is great stuff. You know what?
Listen, that is
a movie that nobody in America has seen. He's got this BAFTA nomination, and nobody on this side of the Atlantic has even seen the movie yet. It's amazing. That's really amazing.
Wow. Just to be in contention, Cliff, our boy Elrond is alongside these titans of acting.
It's wonderful.
I'm so pleased. It's pie.
I am too. I wish him the very, very best. I'm glad that he's in a movie like I Swear and bringing light and conversation to the people who have Tourette's and what they have to live their lives like, and giving some compassion to people. But I'm especially pleased that he got this nomination for a movie where he didn't make out with his mother-in-law.
Stop it.
Wonderful. Wonderful for you, Robert Arameo.
Guys, look at this.
Let me have my fun.
We got some breadcrumbs today. A brand new key art image in high res was posted. This is official. This is high res. This is from season 3. Here, look at this. DNEG is a visual effects company that worked on the first 2 seasons of Rings of Power. And today they posted, we assume with permission, they posted, here's some excellent news. The Rings of Power Season 3 is officially in production at their house. Yes, look at this. A beautiful high-res photo of Sauron looking at his blood-stained Galadriel helmet. And so this is the first official thing for season 3 that we've gotten in months.
It's the very first thing ever. And I wonder if they did get direct
And
permission, because it doesn't look like something that
well,
the
look at
team at
this.
marketing would want to do.
They posted this. Look, these are all the shows that they're working on at DNEG, and look at
Oh,
the
they're looking.
first one.
They're
You
working
talk
on Rings
about
of Power, and they're working for Christopher Nolan on the Odyssey, and they're working for Mattel on the very exciting new Masters of the Universe film. Wow. They're also working on the new Blade Runner 2099. Wow.
wow,
Okay.
indeed. But
Wow.
look at what is listed first: The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season
Yep.
3.
How about that?
Yeah. So shout out to our pals at DNEG. We love them.
Mm-hmm.
They're a visual effects company with offices all over the world. I believe they're a British-based company, but they've got offices in LA, and
Yeah.
they've done great work. I mean, listen, the first 2 seasons of Rings of Power, it looks like it should, it sounds like it should, and that's the highest bar that we can say about anything
Yes,
Rings of
indeed.
Power and
Excellent.
Lord of the Rings.
Excellent.
Cliff, before I let you go, man,
Yes, sir.
we got to talk about this,
What is
because
this?
one of the things that has been top of mind of fans for the last couple
Mhm.
years since the announced Hunt for Gollum, and you've been in the room at Comic-Con when we've polled the audience. Do you recast or do you
Mhm.
de-age the actors? And
We
what
talk
has
about
been
that all the time.
what has been the reaction? Is there a
Half.
consensus?
No, there's a half and half split. It's time for us to use the appropriate word to describe what it is. It's a dichotomy. And that dichotomy is nowhere near resolved. It's half and half, very much so. And you've
Well,
seen that for yourself, I think, in person
and
at the conventions.
and look, and a lot of fans bring up how Legolas in the Hobbit movies looked a little too Golden Girls-ish, a little too soft, not real.
Mm.
But The Hobbit was in 2012. That's nearly 15 years ago, man. So
Yeah.
don't you think the technology for face replacement with machine learning and AI and like that, like we've progressed so far. Don't you think face replacement is up to snuff to make actors look younger?
It should be, but it's changed so dramatically, even just over the past couple of years.
Well, folks, I
What
wanted to
you
show
got?
you this.
You got to show us this. Show us this. I'm curious what you've got here, my friend.
Um, this week, I'm gonna mute it, but this is a new
Oh
ad.
yes,
This is a
I
new
saw
ad,
this.
directed by Taika Waititi, with visual effects by Industrial Light and Magic. So you've
Yes.
got the best of the best. Besides Weta Digital, of course. I believe Weta Digital is better than ILM at some things, and I do believe Weta Digital is better at face replacement. But this is the best that ILM could do. That looks fine. Young Laura
Wow.
Dern has been de-aged, but these
Sam
guys,
Neill and Jeff Goldblum. Wow.
you guys gotta watch this ad yourselves, because I don't think the face replacement, the de-aging actors is working, especially in this shot.
No, that last shot of Jeff Goldblum doesn't look quite right.
Like these again, the point of the ad is the actors playing their younger character selves. So this is
Yes.
exactly what we're talking about with Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. The same actors playing their younger character selves.
I love that Princess Toy Nerd says, "Oh, look at that! The park is completely safe now." Yeah, that's the whole joke of this ad, is that you get
This-
IT support from this company Xfinity, and suddenly you've got no problems with the dinosaurs.
Cliff,
That's a cute
This
gimmick.
is the
That's a cute
best
gimmick.
of the best when it comes to de-aging technology right now. Uh,
Yeah.
this is the best of the best. I am sorry. That does not look like Alan Grant from the 1993 film Jurassic Park.
That looks like Sam Neill had a stroke and part of his face is not working. Is that
Right?
Sam Neill with Bell's palsy? Is that what we're looking at?
Dude,
It's a little
but
bit it's a little bit weird.
I'm not trying to be mean.
Oh
I'm not
my
trying to
God.
be mean. Like, but we
I'm not
have
trying
to
to be mean either, but it's not quite right.
we have to study this because this is the best that they could do for de-aging actors for the one of the biggest movies of all time, Jurassic Park. This is what would be this is what the current state of technology would be able to do for our old pal Orlando Bloom and the actors from Lord of the Rings, Elijah Wood, even any of the four Hobbit actors. I don't know, man. Even this wide shot, like Alan Grant's got buck teeth going on. And then I mean, this scene, Cliff, one of the most iconic scenes uh from the movies, and it's close, but you can tell that's an old guy wearing a wig.
Can you tell? Yeah, I guess you can tell. I guess.
So I
I
don't
guess, but
I don't know, Cliff. Like
look what the people in our chat are saying right now in response to this. This is very funny. Very funny. Oh my goodness.
so Cliff, that's where we're at.
Well,
That's the latest in greatest in de-aging. And this isn't like on a cheap budget. They hired Taika Waititi to direct an ad with the effects from ILM. So this is
yeah,
probably,
yeah.
I think Weta could do a better job, but maybe 10 to 20% better. That's not enough. That wouldn't be enough to make me happy for Hunt for Gollum if they brought back someone like Orlando Bloom that is supposed to be an ageless elf, a younger ageless elf even.
Ian Hart says it looks like Martin Short playing Goldblum and then AI changed. Ooh, those are fighting words.
And no,
That's
again,
funny,
we're not trying to
but
we're
you're
not
not
trying to be
wrong.
mean,
You're
but
not wrong.
Cliff,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
debate with fans, you know this. The fans have been
Well,
like, use de-aging because we love the actors,
we
but do
have
we love them enough?
some of the biggest de-aging that's going to happen that we know is right around the corner will probably be Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart in Avengers Doomsday. And we'll have to see what that de-aging looks like for Magneto and Professor X.
I'm
We'll
scared.
have to see what they do. Well, they've already done it. They did it in Days of Future Past, and it
And
wasn't
that
that
wasn't
great.
great. It wasn't great.
It really wasn't. So now they're going to do it brand new. Let's see what the Russos have to do. I'm
If
curious.
the
I'm very
room has been
curious.
50-50, if fans have been 50-50 on recasting versus de-aging, do you think this ad would move the needle a certain way?
Not necessarily. Maybe. Well, maybe. Maybe. Everyone here in our chat says recast, recast. So there's much more uniformity in the opinion in our YouTube chat today, which is fascinating.
Yeah, you can see. So you can see that it's changing. Look, we love
Yeah.
Orlando. We
Yeah.
love Billy and Dom and Sean and Elijah.
Of course we do.
Um, they're 25 years older now. And this
This is
movie
true.
takes place 17 years younger.
Yep.
Earlier.
You got to put that into perspective, don't you?
So the actors are 25 years older plus 17 years younger story, 25, 35, 45. So we're for 42-year difference. 42 year. Can you de-age someone 42 years?
We're going to find out. We're
I don't
about to
think.
find out.
But here's the thing, Cliff. You've seen. We keep reporting on the news that Ian McKellen says that Elijah Wood and Frodo will be back, and they're getting the band back together. Like, is this what we want to see on screen?
No, I do not want to be pulled out of the immersion of the feature. film the entire time by looking at bad CGI de-aging. I do not want to be pulled out of the film. So they have quite a bit of pressure on them now because it's just the way it is. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
It's
But it's happening. It is happening in front of us no matter what we do. So it's going to happen.
It doesn't have to happen though, Cliff, because we us fans, we have a voice. And if we loudly say we support recasting, give the next generation of actors a chance at Tolkien's wonderful manuscripts.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You saw the auditions last week. They're incredible. You know? Like, imagine any of those actors that we showed last week with Tolkien's actual language in there.
Indeed.
Like, maybe it's time. So, fans, we have a voice, and we should use it to let Andy Serkis and Warner Brothers executives know that they don't need to hire Orlando and Elijah if that's what we think, because de-aging will be required for this movie.
To address the point, the very cogent point that was just brought up by Orion's Angel in the chat, the de-aging was terrible in The Hobbit for Bilbo. You mean for Sir Ian Holm. It always takes me out of the film. If I'm not mistaken, Justin, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was only physical makeup. They didn't do digital de-aging on Ian Holm.
They did a little work around the eyes and mouth because he had a lot more wrinkles.
I thought that was just latex and makeup and serious like makeup applique on his face. That's what I thought that was.
No, they did some digital de-aging on Elijah and Ian Holm in the Hobbit hole scene.
You know what? No, cool. You know what? I'm gonna pop the Hobbit films into my 4K and I'm going to look at it and look a little more carefully. And Orion's Angel, thank you very much for making me aware of that, because I actually thought the entire time it was just physical latex applique that was on Ian Holm's face. But now I have to give it another look in 4K ultra.
Shan says Elijah Wood still looks young for his age at 45. Yes, he does. Elijah held the ring. He is not aging. Same with Galadriel. For some reason, she doesn't age. But I'm telling you, if you put this movie out and he's supposed to be 17 years younger, 42 years younger than he is.
Right.
I don't think that the technology exists to get that young.
Unless they show scenes of Frodo when he's at the same exact age and they don't do anything earlier. Maybe they just show him as he was at exactly that time and not 17 years earlier. Remember, we're looking at a 17-year gap in between the birthday party and the time when Gandalf reappears with a warning about the ring.
Yeah. So, fans, you've got a lot to chew on. Cliff, I have breaking news to end the show. So you got the final word. You get the final word on the latest leak from from Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. We haven't been able to confirm this with a third party, so I'm not going to give it the full 100% thumbs up. We're confident, but I'm going to give this a 70%. I'm 70% confirmed, confident that this is true.
Okay.
The working title for Hunt for Gollum is Juicy, as in juicy sweet.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So let's see. The code name, the secret working title is Juicy. Let's go back in time. The working title, the secret code working title of the Lord of the Rings trilogy was Jamboree, right? Jamboree. The Hobbit trilogy was also made under a fake name working title, and that was Little Rivers. Remember that? So we went from Jamboree to Little Rivers, and now it's Juicy, as in Juicy Couture.
So juicy,
All right.
sweet.
That's so awesome. I kind of think that's funny. It's
The best
just
part
so
about
funny.
this is every time we talk about
It's really
leaks for
funny.
this movie, we can call them juicy leaks.
Juicy Leaks. Oh, we should. From now on, we've got Juicy Leaks. That is going to be a new hashtag. Our new hashtag is Juicy Leaks. Okay, I'm going to type that in the chat right now. It's going to be our thing. Instead of WikiLeaks, we have Juicy Leaks.
Last one, you said the same thing.
Did last one say the same thing? Oh, I love you, last one. You're so great. You are
Juicy
so great.
leaks. All right, Cliff, take us out.
That's great. Last one, you're brilliant. I love it. We're going to do it. Otaku Senpai, is it a 17-year gap in the films, though? Actually, in the films, because Peter Jackson didn't use a lower title card, a lower third, like he did in The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, there is no audience awareness at all, except for the book nerds in the audience.
Thank you.
Who knew how much time there was in
And
that gap.
by the way,
Otherwise, the audience has no idea. at
Matthew
all.
in the chat room, thank you for pointing this out, and I need to highlight this again. When you're downloading those old games on Mega and some questionable sites, we cannot vouch for or verify if they're completely safe for your computer. But I do
Yes.
download and play those, and they're wonderful. But Matthew Jones says, don't ever Google Juicy Leaks ever. That is the best advice we can ever share. Do not
Okay, good.
Google
We will not do that.
Juicy Leaks.
Maybe we should come up with a totally different hashtag then. Maybe. Let's give it some thought. Okay, let's think about this and we'll come up with something better. Juicy Gossip? How about that? Juicy Gossip. Instead of Green Dragon Gossip, we should call it Juicy Gossip. Maybe that will work. You guys are brilliant. I want to say thank you to everybody in the world who came to our live show today. You were with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and from our wonderful Discord server. You guys are the most amazing group of creative ringers in the world. You guys are so awesome. Yeah, thank you. You're right. So we're gonna change that. It's gonna be Juicy Gossip. We'll call it something else entirely. But thanks for joining us, everyone out there in the World Wide Webs. And my acknowledgement and many thanks to that little guy right there next to me. That's Justin Sewell. Thank you for pulling all the levers behind the Emerald Curtain. So lovely to have you all with us here. And again, if you want to find us online, point your web browser to www.theonering.net and read all of our wonderful articles and stories. If you're finding us on social media, follow us on @theonringnet. Take out the dot, and there's no dot there. So you can look for me, Clifford Broadway, on Blue Sky, Instagram as @QuickBeam2000. Follow me, and we'll have a jolly good time. And you're right, Otaku. There is still the issue of the Hobbits not aging 17 years on film. You're right. That never happened. At least, even there's issues with that, but that's like a 25-year-old issue, but you are correct. But now, Juicy Tidbits, you win. Orion's Angel, you win the internet. Juicy Tidbits. Justin, do you like? I like. That's a good one. All right, let's say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. I want to wish all my love and gratitude to all you people out there because I know we'll see you again next week, right here, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, for another episode of Torn Tuesday. So join us then for more mischief and mayhem, green dragon gossip, and maybe even some juicy tidbits. All right, good night, everybody, and good luck, or as I like to say, buenos noches y buena suerte. Bye-bye, everyone.